advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
All right. Welcome to a Monday night show. One and his freaking vampire powers again pops onto the middle of the thing and goes straight to stage. Like, I don't understand why that doesn't happen to anybody else. But freaking one and his vampire powers straight to stage. Do not pass go. Do not sit back and behind the stage like everybody else, like the co-producer or the guy that actually runs the show. No. You preempt my show straight to stage. Welcome, one. I know you're behind stage and you can't say anything. I'll bring you up in a second. Good to see you waving to me backstage. As usual, we cannot start a Devil's, in the details kind of show or a Crimes After Dark show without some kind of technical difficulty. So par for the course there. Also, I was, oh my gosh, I was putting together the show notes for tonight. I had web pages pulled up with highlights of all the things, and then I had something happen on my computer, and I had to reboot, and I lost all my bookmarks, all my highlights. So yeah, typical night. Thank goodness it's a Monday night, so it's a little lower crowd anyways. Normally I might be going on with Birdie Bombshells on our Monday night, but Birdie and I are kind of moving to a different format where we're going to go only twice a month now. At least that's the last we talked about, the first and the third Monday. I know that's confusing. Most of the time you can just remember the schedule. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's my normal time. only twice a month will I kind of break from that routine, it looks like, and go maybe with Birdie. And that's if for some reason something else doesn't change in our schedule. But for the moment, we're going to kind of step back to 2 shows together instead of 4 shows together. So welcome, everyone. And if you're here from the Hive, welcome as well. I'm going to bring my guests up. We'll talk about the clusterfuck. We'll try to get ourselves out of that. I'll explain what I've been going on. Let's bring Robin, who was here first on stage. I know that she was having some audio, or it was either her or I think I tried to unmute you and you muted yourself, because that's the thing. We both have powers. Robin, let's see how you're doing.
How do I sound now? Hello.
It's a little off. And I'm probably a little off. I think it could be me. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Is my mouth not moving with my sound? I have no idea. But anyways,
you sound and look fine. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're a hair off on delay for me, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways, anything exciting in your life? You were back to work and hitting things hard today? Or?
Yeah, back to the old grind today, but no, other than that, no, everything's good.
Well, it's good to have you on the show, and it's going to be pretty laid back. I do want to encourage people to take the opportunity to come up on stage with us and talk to us. I do have slides. I do have things to talk about. I do have announcements. I will get to saying hello to the guests as well. But since I started with Robin, let's get one up here, the vampire who takes over my show. How are you doing today?
Good. Hi, DA. Hi, Robin. Hi, Dan. Yeah, I use my vampire powers. I don't know.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. I really don't know what's happening there. It's the craziest thing. But we should have Joe from State of the Deep joining us like right now, because Joe just literally popped in. As I said,
yeah,
we should have. Yeah, like speak of the devil. Joe popped in. Give me a thumbs up, Joe, if you're ready to go straight to stage. Anyways, all right, sounds good. We're going to bring you up. I'm going to take the parental advisory off your face. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm great. How you guys doing? What's up, DA? What's up, Robin?
Hi, JJ. What's going on?
Hey,
what's up?
I'm going to remove the chat from one's face as well. If we get a 5th person, like if Estes shows up, we'll be able to get, I think, the chat back online. But in the meantime, it's good to see you guys. It's going to be a little slower night. I do have things to talk about, a lot to talk about. So let me say some hellos. Amanda B, first in the house tonight. Essie's back with us as well. Becca 1019, welcome. Phoenix Rising, one of our newest to join the Discord channel and the show altogether. So thanks, Phoenix Rising, for coming in 214. Let's see. Heidi MN, is that from Minnesota, I wonder? Or if there's other kind of initials. Foxy Rose, Lex Green 8, Christina Hurd 4116, regular in the show as well. Silenced Unchained, recognize that name. Bianca Jane, I think I recognize that name. Poetic Justice, definitely recognize that name. Beauty for Ashes 262, also recognize that name. Thank you for joining in and saying hi. Satire 777, also recognize that. Daenerys Stargarian, yeah, 1093. I'm gonna get that right someday. Hey everybody. Let's see, anybody else in here that's kind of new? Dale Harrison, that looks like a newer name. I don't remember seeing that. So Avery Snyder, by the way, if you're new here, please let us know. We try to pay attention to get your questions answered if it's your first live, because not everybody can make it. Lisa Marie 5948, welcome. Dinah Draper 940, welcome as well. Who else we got? Scottish Cat Lady, very cool. Time for Change, Be the Change, that's a cool name. Time for Change, Be the Change. What else do we got? Beauty for Ashes, we already got that. Okay, so I think we're mostly caught up with the hellos. Let me I got myself to I got to get unclusterfucked, because again, I was doing a big video. I'm going to remove that. I was doing a big video, and I want to tease that a little bit, but I'll wait till we get to the Koberger part. I'm going to share the screen and get my slides up. So first and foremost, this is my cool slides, my slide deck done by Amanda B, and she does a lot of the stuff on the website. We have nightly live, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. By the way, tomorrow night, in case you don't know, I haven't gotten the thumbnail created, but Dago from oh gosh, what's the full name of Dago's channel? It's like oh my gosh, it just blanked on me right as I'm doing it.
True Crime Cafe.
Yeah, right. So Dago from True Crime Cafe is going to join us. I think, guys, for that, what we're going to do is I think I'm going to start out with maybe a half hour or so with just him and I talking, and then have you guys come up if you guys are willing to come in a little bit later, or feel free to come in and hang out and listen to the conversation. But I thought we'd have a little bit of one-on-one time, and then I'll bring him up the whole panel, and we can have a chance to talk to Dago and get to know him some more. I already went on his show once. He's super excited to come on our show. I'm super excited to have him on our show. So very cool opportunity to get Dago on here, and get some of his people to see us, and vice versa, and talk about Idaho Fork. He's really big into Idaho Fork. I don't know what other cases. I know he does follow other cases, but I don't know what other cases we might have in common. But certainly the Idaho Fork has got plenty to talk about. The Public Records Fund, for those who don't know about that, we have a Public Records Fund going after try to submit requests for public records in the Idaho Fork case. We have reason to believe, I have reason to believe, and I think a lot of people have reason to believe, that there is potential criminal misconduct in this case. All too often in the United States, and I have to say this with some couching of one being NYPD, and he's a police officer. I hate talking shit about law enforcement when we got law enforcement in the house, but literally one of the systemic problems in our country, in my opinion, is we tend to suffer from blindness when it comes to convictions. We make an arrest, the prosecution then goes for that person, and they kind of oftentimes try to hammer a square peg into a round hole, and kind of overlook exculpatory information because they already know who the guy is that they want, and we get blind. And I think that's a systemic problem in America. And I think it may have played out in this case as well. And again, I recommend the book that Joe kind of encouraged me to get, and other people as well, Framed by John Grisham. The first chapter alone shows you just how far prosecutors and law enforcement will go to force a conviction and get a false confession. By the way, in that case, the first case that's in that first book, the detective who strong-armed at least 4 people into false convictions in that one case that they talked about, he went to jail for that. But after ruining people's lives and sending people to jail for things they didn't do, finally it caught up with him, and that detective went to jail for strong-arming conversation. But how many times in America do they not get caught for doing that kind of stuff? How many times do people plead guilty for things they didn't do? And everybody out there in America has this moronic idea that you don't plead guilty to things that you didn't do. It just doesn't happen. Read a motherfucking book. That's what I got to say about that. Joe, have you gotten any further in that book, by the way?
I'm almost done with chapter 1.
Yeah.
So I'm like right at the end of chapter 1.
Chapter 1 blew my socks off. I think I finished chapter 2 now, the second case. So
it's crazy.
That was awesome.
It's
crazy.
Everybody should, every true crime fan that hasn't read that should read it.
100%. I wish they would, especially because, oh, by the way, Luigi Sporter is still talking about Terry stops all night last night and today. Awesome. Good job, buddy. I love that. I checked that out a little bit, and I watched some of your show and watched some of the stuff you were talking about Terry stops. So I love that. I love that for us and for you. And I think that's amazing. Thank you so much. But yeah, that book, really sheds light on how bad it is. I mean, 7 people got convicted for a crime that they had nothing to do with, while the guy that committed the murder got away with it during that entire time. Guy spends 12 years in jail for something he didn't do. His wife dies of cancer thinking he may have been a murderer, and it turned out it was all bullshit. You can't undo that kind of damage to somebody.
Yeah, and then they also,
again,
I'm not going to give too much away, so in case people want to read it, as each thing got disproven, they changed their theory.
Yeah. They just doubled down. That they had it right from the beginning, and they just revised it a little bit. And I think that a lot of, Framed is the book we're talking about, Framed. And a lot of times I think that happens far more than you realize. Again, one of the guys that co-authored the book was it called Centurion Ministries or something like that?
Yeah.
And I think their organization alone has exonerated 70 people. It should bother us in America that there's 70 people to be exonerated. And that's just that group. That's not counting the Innocence Project, which is a whole different monster, right? How many people is it? It should scare you that 70 people have been exonerated for things that they didn't do because some group had to take up the charge on it. And that's just one group that's doing that. That's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. You would think that with technology and with, with how far DNA and everything has come, right? With cameras and all this stuff, you would think that
Yeah.
we would have a higher, shouldn't say a higher conviction rate, but a higher authentic, authentic conviction rate. But it just, it seems like, the whole idea of what Othram Labs was about from the beginning. I think they, I don't know how long, if this was their whole plan all along or what happened with that. I don't know enough about them, but the whole idea of using, this genealogy stuff and going at cold case files and all that, I think is excellent, but it's kind of morphed into this whole like crazy, crazy thing now,
I mean,
Yeah.
one,
Absolutely.
you must have heard a lot about the Central Park jogger case. That was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that was
definitely.
that documentary is great.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. Central Park, was it 5 or 6 guys? I can't remember.
5.
The
Central Park.
You're
That
talking
was a
about
hell of a
the Central Park
documentary.
5.
Yeah, whoever
You-
hasn't seen
Yeah.
it, that's a must watch.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen it, so it's a must watch for
It's
me, I
good.
guess.
It's good. And
It's
and
good.
what's
Yeah,
good? What I mean, I'm not gonna say everything that happens, but what's really good about that documentary in itself, it goes along with our last few episodes that where JJ has talked about some of the techniques and stuff that are used in interrogation, which are arguably should be illegal, or there are a lot of issues with certain interrogation techniques, and a lot of that is brought out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't feel like it steals the thunder of Frame to talk so much about chapter 1. It's only the first chapter, by the way, and so that's why. And I think it gives you the taste. But yeah, they talk about those tactics where literally law enforcement's allowed to lie to the people and tell people that people have already confessed and already said that they're the killer. They can lie about that. They can lie about what they've got and say, look, we've already got your DNA at the site. They can lie about that. They can say whatever they want to get you to say, well, I guess I'm fucked. I guess you got me because, even though I didn't do it, you're telling me I will go down. That's what they tell you. You will go down for this. You will not beat it. You will go down for it. So you might as well just clear your conscience, cut yourself a deal, and get the best deal you can because you are going down. We've got all this stuff on you. And you can even believe, like, there's no way they can have that stuff on me because I wasn't there. But they'll tell you, look, we've got eyewitnesses that put you there. We've got DNA that put you there. You are going down for it. And then you're like, well, I guess the best thing I can do is accept a plea deal because I don't know where the hell you're getting this information, but you got me apparently. I don't know how you get me when I didn't do it. Like,
It's called the Reed technique.
Yeah.
If you guys want to look it up, it's I believe it's REID. It's either REID or REIDE, the Reed technique. And it's studied a lot, or it used to be anyway, in forensic psychology. And it's pretty crazy shit.
It is. And the tactics that often get used is people are interrogated for 10, hours plus, constantly told you will not leave this room until you confess. And so they get beaten down after your fucking 8 hours of being asked the same question over and over again. And we're not going anywhere until you say you did it. You eventually literally, I can't tell you the number of times people have said, at some point, I got to the point where I would have said anything to get out of that room, So that's the way they do it. They beat you down and wear you out and ask the same question until they just say, you're not going anywhere until the answer to this is yes. And you're like, I just want to go home. So sure. Yeah, I guess so.
And the main guy, Ford, in that first chapter, he's
in chapter 1,
a sociopath. I mean, he's
you have to be a
sociopath. Him particularly clear sociopathic behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in order to have you have to have no conscience of the stuff that you're doing when you know that you're getting false confessions and you don't give a shit. You're putting people's lives away and ruining them, and you're like, whatever to do to get a conviction. It's sad. All right, let's move on to some stuff and things. Just a reminder that I do still have my stuff on sale, my merchandise. It was a first run. Facts over feelings was our slogan. We're kind of moving to the devil's in the details. We're going to redesign our stuff. We may not do away with this entirely, but when we sell out of this, we sell out of this. So there's the website should be up to date. If you go to devilsadvocates.info, if you want to get yourself a zipper hoodie, a ladies tee, or a regular pullover hoodie, it's good quality shit. It's on a really great sale. By the time I take the sale price off for margin and ship it to you, I pretty much don't make anything on it. But I'm okay to do that because it's just sitting in a box anyways, and I want to kind of get it to a redesign in the early part of the next year. And so get them while you can. If you're interested in getting some merchandise that'll be kind of a limited edition, you could be the only one to have that, which would be kind of cool. Just to let you know, by the way, most of you know that there's been a recent shooting again at Brown University. I think 2 died, 8 have been injured. It's an ongoing thing. Last I saw, the killer was still on the run. Is that still the case? Is he still on the run? I know they arrested somebody, but then they let him go.
Yeah.
Still on the run?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't anticipate this is going to be a story that we're going to follow, but I just wanted to mention that being that we're a true crime show, we'd be remiss not to talk about a mass shooting kind of situation. And there is video footage of the shooter. I had it pulled up on my screen. I was going to play it for you. This is they think this actually a person of interest is probably how they're wording this. A person of interest. They think this guy could be involved in the shooting. Doesn't mean it is the shooter, but it's a person that they want to know who it is. They got video of him walking around the corner, and that's just about it. It just plays on loop all the time. Again, I had to reboot my computer and I lost my slides. Also, there was the tragic death of Rob Reiner and his wife stabbed to death in their home. I guess now they believe it was their son that stabbed them and killed them in their home. Rob Reiner, among a million things, directed my favorite movie, The Princess Bride. Yeah, go ahead.
He's in my favorite comedy of all time. I know we have probably maybe some of the newer people don't know, and I probably would be, I'd probably be attacked for, especially where I live. But my favorite comedy of all time, and anyone loves to laugh or whatever. I don't know. A lot of comedies I find like they just don't really make me laugh or whatever. I love satire and everything, but All in the Family is my favorite.
Oh yeah. And Rhonda was looking it up and she was like, "Oh my God, is this him?" Like his character's name was like Meathead or something like that.
Yeah, he's the son-in-law. Yeah, he was the son-in-law. Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh my God, is that Rob Reiner?" And I'm like, "Holy crap, that's way back in the day." Like, yeah, he's that Rob Reiner. So hilarious. Not hilarious what happened to them. It's a sad, tragic thing.
Yeah.
Their throats
I don't
were
know what
slit.
the story is behind. Their throats were slit.
Yeah.
And did they have a motive? Like, did the son just lose his shit? Or,
I don't really know. I don't really know what is it. I think the son is in his 30s, and I just heard real briefly. I know he's had issues with drugs and all stuff. I don't know really anything more than that. But
I mean, his sister was the one that basically tipped off law enforcement because he apparently has mental health issues and he's a drug addict.
Right.
And right from the jump, she said, "I think he's the one who did it." And so yeah, that's kind of what I've heard so far.
Crazy.
So let's talk briefly about so yeah, it's sad. We had the shooting. We had the Rob Reiner and his wife, tragic thing. Let's talk about my cases a little bit, and we'll get some news out of the way, and then we'll take questions. If anybody's out there and wants to come up, this would be a great opportunity to do so. Robin, make sure you post the link if you got a chance there to let people come backstage if they'd like. Idaho 4 is apparently the flagship true crime case for us still. For those who don't know, I'm kind of waging a letter writing campaign and asking. I've sent in a request to the Attorney General of Idaho to consider opening a criminal investigation into potential criminal misconduct in the investigation of Brian Koberger. I believe there's been a miscarriage of justice. I believe that there's exculpatory information that just got released through recent public records information that to me would have been exculpatory information all day, every day, all day long, and that we need to relook at this case, because I think that there's and I didn't even give them everything. Like, I have so much more I could have given the attorney general. Just gave them some basic things, like this is where you get started. I don't know if I needed to give them 47 pages of all the reasons why we believe this case was railroaded on Bryan Kohberger. Even if Bryan Kohberger was involved, I have a new video. I want to tease a new video for tomorrow. I made a premiere based on newly released video footage that we got from Jules and comparing some things. I believe I can pretty much prove to you, even if Bryan Kohberger did show up at the house at 4:07 a.m. and leave at 4:20, as they say he did, he never got out of his car. And I think I can prove that to you, at least with any logical working through the evidence. So I'm going to premiere that video tomorrow. I'm going to show what the house sounded like between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning versus what it sounded like during the kill window, when they said that 3 people were fighting for their lives. At least 3 people of the 4 were fighting back. Again, Kathy Mabbitt, the coroner, said that Xana put up one hell of a fight. I think Gonzalez family said Kaylee fought like a tiger. They were awake and fighting back. Remember, the initial story told us they were all sleeping. They all got killed in their sleep. That's why it happened so fast and so quickly. They were all sleeping. And then slowly, over time, for 3 years, we found out that no, they weren't sleeping. They were awake and they were fighting back and they were screaming. It was a lot of chaos. And yet, when you listen to the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's none of that. You hear nothing. And so you listen to what happened at 2:30 and 3:30, and you're like, how the frick does this not question the timeline of when it actually happened? And then you juxtaposition that with the eyewitness testimony that lied about things like, hey, we fell asleep right after this. Something happened. I saw an intruder, but I decided to go to sleep because I was tired. So I went to sleep and I didn't wake up until 11 o'clock in the morning, and my friend wasn't answering. So I called 911. And then later on, it's like, okay, that's not true. You didn't go to sleep. You texted people all night long. You were texting until the last minute. And so many things are not wrong. And yet law enforcement, it seems like, didn't look down those roads. They didn't question the survivors, and they just continued to Bryan Kohberger's our man. And it makes me wonder. And what's funny is Bryan Kohberger wasn't even their man for weeks after the killing. So it just makes you wonder what they were doing. But anyways, so I've got a petition going. We've got a fund going. Just to let you know how that's going. By the way, today, I'm happy to say we received the $500 donation from the custody queens that came through today. So our fund is up over $2,100 because the custody queens gave that $500 donation. It finally hit the books today. So if you didn't watch, again, this is not just me grasping at straws. I've had attorneys on this show saying, no, that is 100% the right thing to do. You should have filed a request to open a criminal investigation. And this does look like exculpatory information. And it does look like they railroaded Kohberger, and any reasonable jury, any jury would have looked at that and had reasons for doubt all day long. So go. And by the way, we're going to give you $500 to fight that fight. So we've got attorneys that are getting on board. They think something smells like shit, something smells fishy. And again, thank you to the custody queens, Sam and Kristen, and also their appellate attorney that comes on their show, Ron. We had a great discussion. It's still available. You can watch it. We premiered that video. Just like I'm going to premiere tomorrow, the video saying that I think Kohberger, if he was there, even if he was there. And here's my thinking. For those who don't want to hear this, right? I think the murders happened well before Bryan Kohberger got there. I think Bryan Kohberger, according to the official timeline, Bryan Kohberger was still in Pullman when the murders happened. I think the murders more than likely, now that I'm looking at what I looked at, more than likely happened between 2:30 and 3:30, which is exactly when they said originally it happened. It's also exactly when the coroner said it happened. Something happened, and we changed the narrative to say Bryan Kohberger because they think they saw his car arriving at 4 something in the morning. They went, well, Bryan Kohberger's the guy. We'll just shift the entire narrative to say it happened before. That wasn't the original narrative. It shifted at some point to Bryan Kohberger. And so I think that what happened is those murders happened at 2:30. I think at best case scenario, Bryan Kohberger was called to pick somebody up from the house who had already been in the house and had been partook in the murders, may have been cleaning up for hours before calling Bryan Kohberger. And if Kohberger showed up, he never got out of the car. He picked that person up maybe, and they left the scene. Kohberger never got out of the car. And I think I can show you why I believe that's the case. So pay attention to that premiere tomorrow. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's not terribly long. It's about a 40-minute video. I'll be live with the premiere to answer your questions in chat. Hopefully you'll like my analysis of it and the way I handle it. and then going back to what's going on in the letter writing campaign, so I put out 46 inquiries, official communications of some kind, be it certified letters, official public records requests from their website, or emails clarifying stuff. So I've had 46 different communications of various types. I said 5 official responses. I've now had 6 official responses. The new one is Idaho State Police has now recognized or acknowledged by their receipt of my package. Idaho State Police has seen the letter that I wrote to the Attorney General of Idaho, asking them to open a criminal investigation and asking for Idaho State Police in support in investigating Moscow Police Department. So they've received that. At least they signed for it, so I know they have that in their hand. Haven't got it back from the Attorney General's office yet. I don't think I have. We've got FOIA requests that came back and been responded to from the government on looking into records of Brent Kopacka, Brent Lee Kopacka and Brett Payne, names that are familiar in the case. I wanted to look into their history in the 82nd Airborne, whether they overlapped in any way, shape, or form. The premiere tomorrow, by the way, if you're talking about the premiere, is going to be at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will schedule that after this show. So I'll schedule the premiere after this show. So 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's going to premiere. And then, I got like 6 official responses. I've got a couple of official tracking numbers for the cases on Brent Kopacka. I've got 100% utter silence from Moscow Police Department. And now, utter silence means they have just simply told me, please use our web portal. They haven't acknowledged receipt of any of my requests that I remember. Yeah, I don't think they've acknowledged anything. I'm still awaiting the biggest things in this case, which is Idaho State Attorney responding to my request to open a criminal investigation or consider it. But I said I was also waiting for ISP. I'm not. I'm waiting for a response. That's not true. I am waiting for a response from Idaho State Police. They have received my letter for sure, but they haven't responded yet. And of course, NPD also, Moscow Police Department, also got a copy of that letter that went to the Attorney General's office and ISP, and so they haven't responded to that as well. Nor will I expect them to. They're just gonna see how that plays out, I would imagine. So. What time tomorrow night? Was that the question? Tomorrow night, live with Dago will be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, same time as this live. So tomorrow there's a premiere at 8 in the morning for my theory that Brian Koberger, if he went, never got out of the car. And then tomorrow at night we're gonna have our live like we have now. Now on screen, I wanted to point something else. This was I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see that very well. Damn it. This was something one of my users gave us. Jules from True Crime Reactions gave a posting about the status of her FOIA requests. I want to read it to you verbatim if you don't mind. Have you guys seen this? Do you guys think on my panel, have you seen this letter?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it
I
yet.
saw it. Yeah, she was talking about it earlier.
Okay. So this is from Jules. It says, Jules, remember, Jules is the one that requested these audios or these videos and is getting video back, but she's also missing critical time. So I've seen a few people ask if they can do if I can do a community post regarding the entire thing with the 1112 King Road FOIA and what we're still waiting for. So here we go. We originally asked for for 2:25 a.m. to 12:50 p.m. on 11/13/2022, because after speaking with the FOIA officer, that's what I was told was considered the quote unquote entirety of the 1112 King Road footage. After the original 3:30 to 4:30 a.m. public packet they released. I was later reminded that Andrew Fox did a report on camera footage, because he is the one who put in the sections that we have been reviewing, in which it states it starts on 11/13/2022 at 12:55 a.m. and ends at 11/17/2022 in the evening. And there's one day in December. I called him on November 4th, 2025, recorded all 3 times and informed them of this, but was told that they didn't have anything else. Then a few minutes later, I got a call back saying they found it. They had been, they being the FOIA officer and Tim Smallridge, in a subfolder, and they were going to amend my FOIA to reflect the additional time frame. Now, I want to make sure you understand what you're saying. She calls, they tell her that they've given her everything, and then they call her back in a few minutes and say, "Oops, our mistake. We haven't given you everything," which I find interesting. Maybe somebody said you can't just blow her off. Like you have to acknowledge that you got this. A month later, And $930 later, we received the files just for 2 of the time slots that we were missing, right? The 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. that has several long muted spaces that the other time frames do not have, and the 12:55 a.m. to 2:25 a.m. That's what they're still missing, right? I think the 12:25 to 2:25 a.m., which is a critical spot. As stated above about the muted segments, they sent us 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. the next week, but because of a certain person who was going to be out a few days, they were going to have to wait for the 12:55 to 2:25 a.m. because even though the time is reflected in the deposits and the final receipt, they never worked out. They never worked it. So in other words, she's saying it's been requested. They have acknowledged that they've requested, but nobody's worked it and redacted the critical time frame between 2:55 a.m. and 2:25. Why is that critical? Because that's the time that would show the girls all arriving home back at the house, where everybody came from. They would be having to arrive by car, allegedly. So it's the critical time frame. Did Eric Gower drop off the girls when he said he did? Was there any, for God forbid, was there any screaming that started before 2:25 a.m.? Because we only know the first scream that happens at 2:25. Was it going on before then? So there's things that we haven't seen because they haven't shown that critical time frame. It's been over a week and we're still waiting. I called last Friday and was told that our request is at the front of the line, but they had to do some city things too and hadn't gotten to it. I'll be calling them back today. This is the most important time frame, in my opinion. This is the time frame that will show or let us hear Dylan and Lakeland getting back at 1122, Bethany getting there, Kaylee and Maddie being driven in by Gower in the Prius, Bethany and Maddie taking out Murphy, and hopefully answers when Xana and Ethan got home that night, along with a few other things like the patrol car. That's the details. It's been disgusting mess for no reason, just like everything else has been in this entire case. So yeah, Jules, I have to agree with Jules that on her assessment that time frame is a massively critical time frame, and it's interesting that they still haven't released it. They're dragging their feet on it. What do you guys think? How critical do you think that the 12:55 to 2:25 in the morning time frame? How much do you think that will make a difference on the case or potentially show potential exculpatory information?
It's absolutely critical. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
What happened to one?
I mean, he's a vampire. He disappeared.
This is 1-1 behind me.
Well, again, I think that's a critical time frame, and I can't wait to see if she gets it shook loose. I think it's suspicious that they're holding off on it. How is that not already redacted after 3 years? How is that not already redacted?
Right? I mean,
because they never intended to let the public see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's bingo. Now the question is, did the defense get to see it, or did they stonewall her as well and tell her there's nothing that important and she never got it in discovery? Remember,
I mean, just think about, we're here, we're talking about this, right? We've been throwing this around about this time frame for the last week or so. We've all followed this case from the beginning. This piece of information, if they cannot show the girls arriving, Maddie and Kaylee specifically, getting a ride home at that time, this is one of the biggest single pieces of information of this entire case, because that not only does that pick apart the official timeline and the narratives of the surviving roommates, it picks apart the overall narrative about what happened. Because if there's a chance that they weren't home during those hours, then it raises some of the questions that some of us have raised, which again, I have been pretty open about the fact that I'm not sold on the extraction theory, but it has legs. And for anybody who, I'm sure people that have followed this case know why it has legs. But if they can't show those girls arriving home, what's their excuse for that? It would be very convenient if they had all that footage from 1112 King, but not the window of time when Kaylee and Maddie got a ride home.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
DA, what would that make you
implications are
think? I'm curious to know. You and Robin both. and 1-1 if we can get him, the vampire, back on here. What would that change in your mind, you guys?
Which if you don't
Everything.
see the girls come back when they say they did?
Yes, or you don't see them come back. They don't like, for example, let's say they come back with this video and there's no definitive proof of the girls arriving home. What would that do to your mindset? I know it's probably hard to speculate at this point, but
It is. I mean, look, the wildest conspiracy theories out there say that they were killed somewhere else. They were killed off site and they were brought back and staged in the house. I don't know how you could do that other than if I were playing devil's advocates. I've been to the property. You've been to the property, Joe. That back parking lot has no lights, right? So if you have your headlights off and there's no street light back there in that back parking lot, and if you had the lights off on 112 in the back and had no porch light on, it would be virtually pitch black at the back of the house, wouldn't you think?
yeah.
And if that's the case, is it impossible to say that somebody could bring bodies down and put them in the house through the back sliding glass door and bring? And I know, and it sounds crazy. Like I've never really seriously entertained the idea that they were killed somewhere else. But to your point, what would it mean if you don't see them return to the house? Could it have happened somewhere else? Did somebody bring them in from the back parking lot where you can't see anybody anyways? I don't know.
See,
I
I
mean,
don't. The reason why I
There's
don't
a lot of people there. That much you can see, you can hear. So
Well,
yeah,
the
I
reason
don't
why
know.
you guys said I don't think that is a probable theory is because you would be risking a lot, right? You're
sure.
bringing bodies.
The dog's
into a
barking back
house.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, like that adds a whole other layer of risk to
Right.
a situation. Now, our buddy Pavarotti, our pal, our new best friend of the channel, Este's, brother from another mother, was talking about how the gunshot theory, which
Yeah.
I still contend is a possibility, that there was a gun used in some way, shape, or form in this crime, and that it might be one of the things they're trying to cover up. And the reason why I mentioned that, aside from watching our pal Pavarotti, or listening to him rather today, is that I've mentioned 2 different times on the channel that everybody does this. You get locked into a few different ideas and then you extrapolate those ideas. But a lot of times it could be a combination of things that happened and that are not necessarily as readily visible or considerable. So if, let's just say, they don't show up on that video getting driven home, then I would think that it's very possible that it's a hybrid of theories that, Xana and Ethan were there and Kaylee and Maddie knew that something potentially got tipped off, that something was going down. And as we saw in the surveillance footage, hearing Jack Showalter say, "Oh, they'll get you for that," or that's what
Right. Right.
It
Right.
seems like he was saying. So it's possible that the girls knew about something that was going to go down, and it could have been a combination of things. It could have been, an extraction operation, or it could have been that they got tipped off that something happened at the house. So if Xana and Ethan were attacked and killed, somebody could have gotten in touch with Kaylee and Maddie and said,
Yeah.
you guys, this is what happened. Somehow they got tipped off to it, and then they got taken out of the picture and they never went back to the house. So again, I know that's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying a lot of my feelings about that hinge upon seeing that 2 a.m. time video.
Yeah. Well, before I forget, I mean, first of all, as I said from a million times, what I can almost guarantee you is it didn't happen the way they said it did. It didn't happen the way Brian Koberger confessed that it did. That's not how it happened. I'm almost 100% positive that's not how it happened. The question is what then did happen, and why are we told a lie about it? Because I don't believe it's even possible to have happened the way they said it did. By the way, we have Fiji backstage. Because Fiji doesn't have a camera on, I can't get a thumbs up from Fiji to know that Fiji is ready to take the stage. But I am going to give that little soft, hey Fiji, you're about to come on stage and ask your question. So hopefully you're there. One is still muted, so I don't know if he's around or what's going on there. Let's bring Fiji up for a question or comment and see where that goes. Fiji, are you there?
Hi.
Hi.
Kim.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. I super agree with what you said, and I've thought for a long time that Kaylee and Maddie were extracted. The whole time. Someone said earlier today that those girls at 1122, I think, that it looked like Kaylee and Maddie were wearing those clothes, but I don't think that were Kaylee and Maddie. I don't think they were ever brought back, and Eric Gower probably ever took them back to the house, right? Something happened.
You, so, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but if I were to play devil's advocates, I would ask you, like, why Steve Gonzalez off the rails telling us the details about Kaylee having her face bashed in. Kaylee was gagged and had marks on her mouth. Kaylee was this. She got it worse than everybody else. They didn't have to go up the stairs. The distraught father who's just devastated. Are you suggesting that's entirely an act on Steve Gonzalez's part, or were they extracted and even Steve Gonzalez doesn't know? Like, how do you explain Steve's behavior if
Because
it
they're
was
in
an
wet
attraction
sack.
of those girls?
They're in wet sack. And that's why that would
Yeah, I
be
don't.
my explanation. And and this is the weird thing. When I did go into, I did a chat, um, GPT, and it came up with weird stuff. And you know how that goes, right? And it did come up with stuff, and it came up with it with Steve, and it said that he was in California, previous, and there was some, and who knows if this is true, right? But
Yeah.
there was stuff that he had worked previously with. He was an accountant, and there's ties with the cartel. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Steve G, you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've been saying literally since day one of this case that his behavior just seems emotionally inconsistent with someone who just lost a child.
Yeah.
And that I get it. DA has talked about this many times. Everybody, we know the narrative. Everybody grieves differently. I get that. But it could be hypothetically, if they were extracted, that he's got to play it up, right?
You're gonna hide it. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna over.
he's got to play it up, and that would be also, be why sometimes they seem a little bit weird the way they react. That would also explain the interview with Steve and Christy where she says, "And Maddie just bought a hat," and then she cuts herself off.
Mm-hmm.
But
They don't act like normal parents who lost a child. I'm sorry, I have 3 children, and if I lost a child, I would be um and I'm a therapist, and I've been around people who've lost children, and I'm a very sensitive person too. But I've been around people who've lost people. So I've seen people at different levels, right? And everyone grieves differently. Ugh.
yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
I
And
have not seen people like that. Let me put it this way. You don't get a phone call and from a family member and you're watching a fucking, excuse my language, a flipping football game, and you sit there and you don't drive an hour and a half to the place and go see what the hell's going on if your daughter's
Yeah,
dead. That's
yeah,
not normal. That is
no,
unusual when you don't pick up the phone and no phone call from your daughter, no phone call from Maddie. You don't drive. That's not normal, people. That's
no,
abnormal.
yeah,
And you sit there and
I'd
you
have been in
watch
the car.
football games. You sit there and then you sit there and you wait for a cop to come to your home. Something is not right there. Everyone
Yeah.
hear that? Does
Yeah,
anyone hear that there?
I think that's I've been, like I've said from day one, I just think it's very
And
odd.
then their comments are, and then we sat there and what was their comments? It was all like mafia kind of cartel bullshit. Like, oh, we got
Yeah,
it. We're there. I mean, come on.
we go to work. That's what it was. We go to
Yeah,
work.
I mean, come
I was,
on.
I'd have been
Yeah.
in the car, man. That was my kid. I'd
There's
been
a
the
And
lot
then
of
car.
and then it was all and then sensing it was it it was like we're watching a movie, and then the money. And so, in my opinion, Kaylee is still alive and she is in with Zach. I really do think that. And I think there is cartel stuff there going on. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know.
you look
Kind of wish we
if
had
we
Jason
look at
Estes on here to carry the torch on that too, but yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and there, we have all heard the other rumors, and I get it. They're rumors that somebody flushed shit down the toilet,
Yes.
and there could have been, and like another theory that I've had from day one is that somebody affiliated with that house was dealing, and which is not a stretch in any way, shape, or form. Anybody out there who thinks that's a stretch, you're not living in
I don't think
reality.
I don't think the girls were doing anything personally. I don't think the girls were. I think if there was a hit, it was because of the parents.
Right, but I'm not saying that the girls. I've always been clear about that. We've seen video of a known convicted drug dealer leaving that house on one of the body cam footages.
Mm.
Someone that, we know who I'm talking about, I'm sure, who got busted for selling a kid fentanyl laced drugs, who died.
Next week, I'm gonna do.
And
I
they
don't
got
know.
and
I
they
don't
got
know
off.
who it
Her and her
is.
boyfriend got off. And so there was all kinds of speculation that they became CIs to
What
get,
what's the first letter start with?
EB.
Oh, okay.
You know who I'm talking about?
I I think so.
I just don't want to say it, the
Yeah, no,
name.
I get it.
Yeah.
Her and her boyfriend got busted for selling a kid at the school drugs, or maybe it was in Pullman. Who he died. He died of an overdose, and they got arrested for it. Her and her
Right?
boyfriend. And
Okay.
when they got off, charges were dropped
Yeah.
on some bullshit technicality. We know what
Okay.
that is,
Uh,
right?
By the
And
way, I do have public records request into that particular case and why they got dropped on it, because yeah, they were involved in a murder case in Washington State, and
When did
I've got records requests into that as
when
well.
did that happen, you guys?
it happened
Uh,
about within the first year after, right? The Idaho
Yeah,
4 case.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
curious
it's close. Yeah,
because
2023.
all of Washington State University, and I'm saying that because my son went to WSU, and they're all dry now. Like, and they never used to be dry.
the campus is dry. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So I'm wondering when they went dry, if that has anything to do with it, right?
Well,
gotta,
that's been a trend that's
maybe,
been happening.
I have to play devil's advocate though. Haha, pun on the
one
name. I
one
am
sec.
here. Yeah, go
One
ahead,
sec. 1 second. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. But
good.
real quick, Diana Draper is backstage, so I want to get her on and let her know at least that we will be getting to Diana Draper. So let's answer Fiji and then
Yeah.
see if Fiji's done with that, and then we'll put her backstage and we'll bring Diana up so we don't have too many people on screen at one time. But go ahead and answer Fiji.
Okay. So my devil's advocate response. I know. So I could entertain the fact too that possibly maybe someone was they were extracted. I do think that there definitely were people who were murdered in that house. However, you do got to look at the evidence that we're given. I know you know we're going to say like, oh well, they can lie, they can doctor this and that. That is true, but you do have to look at the evidence that we have, and we do have that there are I believe 8 or 9 blood spots, spatters, whatever you want to call that they did find in the stairway. And this makes it so there's multiple things with this. So one, so this really has nothing to do with Ethan and Dana. This is all about Maddie and Kaylee. They did find mixed DNA with Kaylee, Maddie, and an unknown male. They also found there was DNA tested. I believe they tested 4 spots. Some of them just had Kaylee, conclusively was Kaylee by herself. But most of it, but then some of the others were Kaylee mixed with, I know, then some of the others were also unknown. I think it was 97%, they said, unknown male, conclusively DNA, not Kohlberger's, but some unknown male that they are not aware of, mixed with 2 other, which is probably, they didn't say it in the report. It's probably Maddie and Kaylee are the other two females. But so it does look like to me. It does look like to me that from that evidence, if you're going to go by that, it does look like that. Maybe didn't start there, but it does look like that Maddie probably was killed in the bedroom, and Kaylee somehow was trying to run away, or some kind of fight or something happened on the stairs, because you wouldn't and that's where you get Kaylee's DNA by herself, and then you get Kaylee's DNA mixed with Maddie and the unknown assailant. So that would give me, that's kind of it's not 100% proof, but that makes me believe that again Maddie was killed in the bedroom. How whatever, either Kaylee woke up or she tried to run away or whatnot, but some kind of attack happened in that stairway between the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor, and we know that DNA does not match Kohlberger.
So let's not make our guests in the back wait too long to get on. Fiji, thank you for the question. I appreciate it very much.
Can I ask it really quick? Can I ask a quick question to Woman? So Woman, I mean, this is kind of a weird question, but could it be, if it was a setup, could someone, could they plant maybe someone's blood there?
So what I would answer to that specific, those blood spots were not, from my understanding of the report that came out on that, they were not really visible to, most of them were not visible to the naked eye. So they were found after they used the chemical. So I would say that alone probably shows evidence that there was some kind of cleanup. And what would be the point of them putting the blood there and then trying to clean it? Like that wouldn't follow. I wouldn't follow that logic. So I think that there was blood there that someone probably saw some blood on the in the hallway or whatever, and they tried to clean it up, but obviously there was some remnants that they didn't get. That's what I believe. So I do think there was some kind of attack or something that happened in that stairway. Oh.
Oh.
All right. So, Fiji, thank you again so much. And again, you're welcome to come up anytime. Real quick, I'm going to remove you from stage, and then I'm going to make sure I get a thumbs up from Diana. It looks like she's turned on a mic or a camera back. So, are you good to go?
Yeah. Have a great night, guys.
So,
Bye.
thank you so much, Fiji. Appreciate it. One thing I want to add before we bring on Diana Draper is the whole if it was an extraction. This is the difficulty we get into. Well, I don't think it could have been this because we know that this blood, if it was an extraction, everything we know about the case can be bullshit. Everything we can know. So it always gets hard when we get into why it couldn't be an extraction because of this and that when we get into, well, we know this. Because again, fundamentally, if you're saying it's an extraction of a government level, then every part of this case could be fabricated and lied about. So we don't know whose blood was found anywhere. It'll be whatever the fuck they tell you it is. So that's what's hard about the whole extraction theory is you can't counter the extraction theory with what we know about the crime scene because by definition, if it's an extraction and it's a cover up by the government, everything could be lied about. Every part of the DNA, every part of the evidence could be lied about. So there's nothing you can hang your head on and go, well, it can't be because we know Maddie's blood was found. No, you don't know dick because the whole thing could be made up. The whole thing could be a lie. That's my problem with it. It's like you can't exclude the witness protection idea, extraction idea by saying what we know about the crime scene because the crime scene itself would be fabricated. So I don't know. That's to go. So Diana Draper took herself or whatever off screen. I'm going to assume that she didn't want to be on camera, but wants to be on stage. So it's at your own discretion. You're coming up on stage without a camera, and if you turn it on, it's all you, right? All right. Diana, are you there?
Yeah.
Or Diane. Sorry, I keep calling you Diana. It's Diane, right?
That's okay. Everybody calls me Diana, and I'm like, no, it's Diane.
I'm sorry about that. I'm reading
okay.
it and I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anyways, what's on your mind, Diane?
If it was an extraction, Steve G collected a lot of money. So did Dylan. On a lie.
Yeah.
And, I do have a problem. I do agree. What parent gets a call and says, say, hey, so-and-so has been shot, and you don't get in your car or take an Uber and get down there?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly the time. That's the problem. I've been kind of quiet about whether or not, Steve was watching football and didn't come or not, because I don't remember the exact details of those. And so I just didn't want to lead credence to that's what happened or didn't happen. I remember an early interview where the Gonzalez's were saying that a cousin called or whatever and said that everybody had been shot. And so I was like, where the hell did everybody get shot came from kind of thing. But I don't remember the football party thing. So I'm hesitant to weigh in my feelings about Steve Gonzalez's initial response to it because I don't remember that part of the discussion, unfortunately. But did you guys remember it all with clarity?
They were watching a football game.
Yeah.
When they got the call.
He said that.
Yeah.
And
then they continued to watch the football game after they were told?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I would have been on the phone at the same time screaming, somebody call me an Uber if I had been drinking. If I hadn't been drinking, I'm still on the phone while I'm jumping in my car.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Diane, do you remember early?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, DA.
No, go ahead.
Diane, do you remember early on in the case, if you were watching it from the beginning, this is before Koberger was arrested. I've brought this up before. There was one of the mainstream channels had a former special forces guy, former law enforcement guy on, and he straight up said he thought Steve G was guilty.
Yeah.
Of the
yes,
crime.
I do.
And they cut him off.
It's the same guy who said there was a camera in the house recording everything. And that when the police got there, he was watching, or whoever was watching. And then I haven't seen that guy since.
Yeah, there's people that had, said certain things on mainstream media that didn't align with what the mainstream media wanted to put out there, and they got quickly they got quickly disappeared. And I never heard from that Special Forces guy again. I never saw him on another video about Idaho 4 after
No,
that.
no. He had said, I don't know if you remember or not, but he had said about the camera the same day. He said he thought Steve G was suspect. Was I hate to say suspect, but just sus.
Yeah. Well, this case has got to be one of the craziest cases, if not the craziest case I've ever seen. With all I can say is the same thing I say all over and over, which is that I'm certain it didn't happen the way they said it did. So now the question is, will we ever know what really happened? If there were other people involved, as I very much suspect there was other people involved, will they just get to walk free of murder or accomplice murder and walk free because we took the lazy way out and America just wanted the easy answer? He looks creepy, so therefore he must be guilty and must have done it by himself because he just look at him. I don't know. I just feel like this case is the weirdest case I've ever seen. Hands down. Looks like we got another guest, by the way, coming up on backstage. Did you have any follow-on questions?
Just a comment. When have you ever, in a homicide case, and one might be able to answer it better, have you seen Homeland Security, the FBI, ATF, DEA, and the marshals involved in?
Looks like one's muted, unfortunately. I will say I don't remember the ATF being involved, but I do know that there's reasons to believe the marshals were involved. There's definitely proof that the Homeland Security was involved. There's proof that FBI was involved. And I guess what I have to say about that is so all the way here go. There was a multi-jurisdictional drug task force going on in the area, which probably included FBI. There was also lots of Idaho was getting funding to help stop illegal drug smuggling across the Mexican border into Idaho, and that was they had received money for that. So that could in itself get Homeland Security involved in the situation because they would cover the whole bringing drugs across the border into the United States. ATF, I didn't know. Marshals, that kind of goes maybe potentially to that whole WITSEC idea. Like Marshals' job is literally to protect people in WITSEC or move people from courthouses and protect them in the transport. That's what Marshals do. So for those people who kind of lean on the somebody's in witness protection and, basically ratted against a drug cartel or something like that, if you go with that, that would explain the involved. So a drug angle would explain the involvement of FBI, Homeland Security, Marshals, a lot of stuff, because it could potentially be involved with a large drug organization, and somebody could have been protected or could have been a confidential informant. That's one of the big ideas is that somebody in the house was the target. They were a confidential informant that got found out, and somebody came and killed the CI right under the nose of the people who were protecting them, and it was a shit show, and they wanted to cover their embarrassment of having one of their CIs murdered right in front of them. That's one possible scenario as well. So I appreciate all the questions, and I want to give a chance to another person to come up. So I hope that if you have a quick comment on that, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll say thank you for coming, and we'll bring another person up. Did you have another follow-up?
I know a marshal. He's in Ohio, and I had asked him about that, and he flat out told me no, because if we had done that, there would never have been anybody in court, going to be possibly convicted of a crime they didn't commit.
Yeah.
And I said, so nobody was extracted. He goes, I'm telling you, no one was.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay.
Well, and for the record, I don't believe anybody was extracted myself. I've said that over and over again, but I definitely allow my panelists to discuss the idea of an extraction, because I think, as Joe said so aptly, it has legs, it has teeth to it. So you have to at least discuss it. So thank you for coming on, Diane. And I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to introduce her next. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember there was a Jocko 1972 on Instagram? He was putting videos out. He was talking about a white Elantra before we ever heard anything about it. Then he's talking about shoes. And he said, well, the one thing they'll never find is the tarp. And I thought, what? And he was creepy.
I don't remember that individual.
Oh, he also put out a video of a guy working in a fish factory, cutting up fish. I mean, it was
Ye-
his account is
Yeah,
you can
that's
still kind of access him. And not Papa,
yeah.
sorry, but Papa Rogers said he had unalived Ethan in the front room, and that's where he left him. And somebody said, "Well, no, they found him in the bedroom with Anna." And he said, "No, they didn't."
Yeah. No, all of those things also have teeth. Outside the scope of talking about at the moment, only because we have a guest waiting back. But yes,
Okay.
let's bring those up again on another night, because I think all of those things have teeth. There's been long talk that Ethan was killed in the main room. That's been something that's been talked about a lot before as well. So I appreciate all those things. Let me bring up another guest. I'll put you backstage. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it very much. We have Lori and CJ Slagle. I hope I pronounced that right, backstage. Don't have a camera turned on, so I'm presuming that's the way they want to keep it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up stage. Lori and CJ, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. What's on your mind?
I have actually something I wanted to mention, more so than a question. It's about what you're doing, pertaining to the misconduct,
Yeah.
or just literally, I saw this about, I think it's been 4 days now, and it has been literally driving me insane. So I don't know if you've seen or shown Officer Corbin Smith's body cam yet.
No, I
Where
have not.
Okay, so it's where he's I'm just, let me, what I'm gonna do, so I'm not up here, forever. I'm just gonna tell you the part that is the most crucial, and I'm so serious. You need to check this out and add it to your list of things that you're sending in.
Okay.
Someone
Yeah.
in the chat mentioned earlier about, they made a comment that they feel that maybe Moscow PD had good intentions at first, and then just as it went on, they got in too deep. This literally proves they did not have good intentions from the start. This the Okay, so the best way to go about looking at this is, there's two different videos. There's one that is like 2 hours long, and it's body cam number 2. And then if you go, there's one 27-minute clip. So if you go literally 12 minutes in, that's where you're gonna see Officer Corbin. He gets called from his post on the back patio. He's supposed to be guarding the back patio. Brett Payne calls him on the phone and asks him to go see if any of the victims have gunshots, or maybe he asks if there's any sign of gunshots on the walls or whatever, because they redacted, of course. So when Corbin comes back, okay, into the kitchen, Captain Lanier is there. Now, mind you, it's like 15:08, 3 p.m., a little after 3. So at this hour, only the first responding officers are there. And now Captain Lanier has arrived. There's no forensic team. No coroner has been there. Detective Payne is still at the Moscow PD because he just called. Nobody has been there, okay? And so I've watched this so many times, I picture it in my head. I know every moment of it. So Corbin proceeds to he hangs up his cell phone, and he starts to explain, because Captain Lanier looks at him and he's like, gloves. And so, like, that's the least of your worries, because this officer has been trampling all over the house, first of all.
Right.
But that's okay. So anyways, when when Lanier realizes that Chief Fry is at the Moscow PD, he makes a phone call to him, and he wants to let him know that media is out there. They need a liaison. And then when he hangs up the phone, he looks at uh, Officer Corbin, and his exact words are, "Okay, so we're working on the theory that whoever did it." And he makes an L sound, and then it's all redacted. So once again, he says,
Huh.
"Okay, so we're working on the theory that whoever did it," and then it's all redacted.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And what do you think
so
was implied?
I don't know, but all I know is that
Yeah.
whoever's sitting at the tabletop drill that they're having at the Moscow PD, they're working on a theory 3 hours in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they haven't even been to the crime scene yet. This is Captain Lanier, who literally has just walked into that house. He hasn't even done a walkthrough of the crime scene. So,
Yeah.
on what planet are any of them who are at the PD working on a theory? So, who's working on a theory? Who's
Yeah.
working on a theory? This is Captain Lanier telling the officer, one of the first arriving officers, who's supposed to be manning the back, the patio, that, he's telling
Yeah.
the officer who's actually there what theory they're working on.
Yeah. Well, and
Does that
this
make sense?
leads to the thing I say all the time, which is that there clearly seems to be a lack of just standard operating questions. When people say things, there should have been follow-up, and there was no follow-up done, which indicates they already believed they knew what happened. And that's why you don't ask questions you already know the answers to. I say it all the time. So the fact that they didn't follow up on things suggests they already had their mind up, that they knew what happened, and they just didn't need to spend a lot of time going down rabbit holes, because they think they know what happened, or they knew what they decided it was going to be very early.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because after he says that and they redact it, you'll have to watch it. If
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll type it in the chat so that you can take a screenshot, and you'll have to watch it for yourself, because I don't
Yeah.
think
Very much.
yeah, you'll if you watch it, you're going to understand the magnitude of it, because it they shouldn't have redacted it, first of all, if they're not hiding what he said.
Yeah.
So then he goes on a tour with the with the police officer, which is Corbin. Corbin takes him on a tour of the actual crime scene. So I know it's Payne, who's still at the Moscow PD. He hasn't even been to the crime scene yet. It's
Yeah.
3 hours in. They called
Yeah.
911 at almost noon. So now it's like 15:08 or somewhere around there when he first gets the call from Payne. So I can understand that, but to me, the magnitude of them sitting at the Moscow PD, you have to think that Dylan, Bethany, Hunter Johnson, all of them are just now at the police station from being outside out front of the house that morning, well, afternoon actually, and they're just now
Yeah.
getting to the police station being interviewed. So if they're
Yeah.
just now going through the very start of all those interviews, how in the world are these higher up sitting at the Moscow PD and already working on a theory that whoever did it,
Right.
and then they redacted it all?
Yeah.
To me, that tells me,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna hop down. That's all I wanted to mention, and I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
write out the video for you so you can watch it yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I will do that. And I'm sure, like you said, if there's something to catch there, I'll see the significance of it when I look at it. So, and it does sound like there's potential big things there. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing that. And I'm make sure, Robin, if she puts it up there, that we get it written down somewhere. If I don't, I'll try to do it as well. But if we get a couple of us try to get it, we'll look into that quickly and hopefully then file a public records release again. But it sounds like some of the footage is already out there, but maybe we need to request the more unredacted version of it.
I was just going to, request the unredacted.
Yeah, we're gonna unredacted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks,
so
Lori.
was 1-1 like permanently muted, or what happened to 1-1 over there?
I'm here. I'm here in the background.
All right.
Well,
Just
you know,
try to keep
DA,
things silent over there.
one of the things that it's kind of interesting that we're talking about the book Framed. You know, it makes me think of even more possibilities if that's even possible, right? With this case.
Yeah.
But I still maintain that I think there was a government level operation involved, because the media, whenever the media is in lockstep like that, that's my first cue that it's a government operation, because regardless of the evidence that has since come out, they'll still talk about, you know, the talking heads like it's a foregone conclusion, and they're not interested in finding out any more information. And to me, that implies corruption on a higher level. And so, you know, it's very possible there was drug stuff going on in that area, and they knew about it. And they don't want that.
And along the lines of the lockstep narrative, along the lines of the the lockstep narrative of the media. I mean, maybe I am an idiot, but it seems like I've got really high level people that are like saying I'm not an idiot. I sent those raw files from MPD to CNN, to Fox, to ABC News, CBS News, News Nation, Idaho News, and not a single one of those media outlets thought it was worth looking into and even responding to me. Not even so much a thanks, but we've looked into this already. Nothing. Complete silence. They give zero fucks that might actually be exculpatory information, and they're not even going to respond to it. So that bothers me on a fundamental level. And I will say I will wage a personal crusade against mainstream media. If this does get taken up as a criminal investigation and something is overturned, I will make sure that everyone knows how long they sat on that information and didn't tell America about it because they thought it wasn't worth your while, knowing that was bullshit from the very beginning. They knew it. They had it in their hands, and I'll make sure that everybody knows the date that they had it in their hands and just chose to ignore it. So
yeah,
that's my personal campaign.
And I just think that I trust my gut on things. I'm very analytical, but I also trust my gut when it comes to certain things. And there has been talk about, you know, the gun thing, right? A gun being used. Now, I know one disagrees with me on this, but I just have a feeling, it's a gut feeling, and then based on the Linda Lane footage, there was a sound that sounded a lot like a gunshot, and that could have been manipulated, especially a sound that's that much different and higher and more intense than the rest of the surrounding video. Wouldn't be that difficult to suppress it or you know, take it out with manipulation. I mean, they can do that with audio audio editing and manipulation. So I'm not ruling that out. I think that is a good possibility. I mean, why would that guy at the Queen Road apartment say, I heard like a gunshot, or I heard something about gunshots, and the cop goes, all right, thanks, have a good day, and he leaves.
Kind of like the panties.
You remember that?
There's panties outside. Okay, thanks. Yeah, have a good day. Yeah. They didn't want to follow up on it.
Say something about a gunshot.
Not that same guy, I don't think. I don't remember him saying anything about a gunshot. But
there was another person that was interviewed that mentioned a gunshot.
Yeah, real quick, I need to address this. I need to address this real quick. This thing I pinned on the screen. I've had only one person in my life that I know that likes to come on and shit all over my guests all the time and tell me that every attorney I have on my show is not a real attorney and every cop that we have on the show is not a real cop. Nothing pisses me off than that kind of bullshit. I went to New York. I met him. I shot guns with NYPD. They were all NYPD. I guarantee you he's NYPD. I got a fucking challenge coin from NYPD. That guy's NYPD all day long, every day, and twice on Sunday. So that pisses me off. Do not attack my guests and do not tell people that they aren't who they say they are. I don't lie about that shit. He's not lying about that shit. I vetted it. I can vouch for it 100%. 1-1 is NYPD through and through, and that person's not welcome on here again if they're gonna shit on our guests like that. We're done with that shit. Anyways, pisses me off. It's one thing for you to question my integrity. It's another thing when you shit on my guests and question everything about them. I hate that crap. When you come on and you tell me that the attorneys aren't real attorneys, they check their bar number and you can't find. I don't give a fuck what you did. That I guarantee you. 1-1 is NYPD. Not even a question. So take that stuff somewhere else. Anyways, sorry.
Well, when that person decides to come back, sorry, they're not going to be here anymore because this isn't the first time they've done it. And they attack the mods, they attack the guests and everything. They don't need to be here. So
yeah, no, that's not acceptable. I'm so sick of people attacking the guests and their credentials. No. It just sticks in my craw like you wouldn't believe. So anyways, sorry about the rant. I just that drives me nuts. That drives me nuts. Anyways, let's spend a few minutes on another case, shall we? I mean, we talked Idaho for a long time. Let's spend a few minutes on another case. Real quick before I move on to out of the case, if you are interested in the public records campaign we got going on, I've got a GoFundMe. Robin, if you happen to grab it handy, maybe you can throw the GoFundMe link up there. If not, we can, but there's a screenshot. If you have your phone, you can take a shot with that off of your screen. If you're watching it on a TV or whatever, that's the GoFundMe thing. We are raising money for the campaign. The big money is going to come when they start coming back with like they did with Jules. It's going to cost you $900 to see that footage. And so we will fight the exorbitant prices they're asking for, and we'll make sure that they give us the media rate and all those things. But if you want to contribute to that, please do so at the GoFundMe campaign. We're raising money for the fight that's probably coming on every step of the way in this case. Luigi Mangione, we're not going to talk about Luigi Mangione too much. I wanted to talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit. The suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination makes his first appearance court appearance. He was in plain clothes. Right away, there was a big video and I wanted to show it. Then I rebooted my computer and I lost the video. That there was actually footage of the shooter, alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, smirking. They say, of course, he just smiled at some point. Candace Owens immediately jumped out and said, so first of all, they said that a lip reader, they had an art. I wonder if I could find that for you. Fuck.
I know that shit's hilarious.
Did you see that? Did you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw the video with the lip reader captions. It's like we're getting to like ridiculous circus level bullshit with the fucking media now. Right. And so the gist of it is a lip reader said that Tyler Robinson is seen saying, what did he say? He said, oh God, he said, I think about this shooting every single day. I wake up and I think about the shooting every single day, as what they said, the lip reader said. So, explosive news. He said, I think about his family every day. I think he said. Think about his family every day. He also supposedly said, oh, he had a wife. He was married. Like he didn't know that he was married and whatever. Then Candace Owens came out and said, that's not what happened. He literally was told that the vehicle that brought him to the courthouse had been involved in a crash, an accident, and he found it was funny and laughed. Where the hell did that, I don't even know what to believe anymore, but here we get all these stories telling us what is going on the facial expressions of Tyler Robinson when he's in court. Lip reader says it says this, something salacious. Candace Owens says it has something completely different. It has something to do with getting in a car accident and whatever. And just here we go with narrative shaping 101 on everything to do with the accused, as it often happens. Yeah, I mean, look, man, the feds they see that there's a large percentage of people online, they are on there filtering everything, that knows this is a bullshit story, and they have to try to muddy the waters and flood the zone, as I say.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the next story that I wanted to share for the Tyler Robinson was this one, which was that Trump's Department of Justice could charge alleged Kirk killer with a surprising crime. So the story goes, the federal government wants to execute, just like they do with Luigi Mangione, they want to execute Tyler Robinson, and so they want to find a federal charge. So now, according to this article, and several of them like it, the Department of Justice is considering bringing Tyler Robinson up on hate crimes, saying that he hates Christians, and therefore it's a hate crime, and we can go after him with extra federal charges for hate crimes in America. So now they're going to try to make the jump that his supposed support of trans rights means also by extension a hatred of Christianity, and therefore he hates Christians, and therefore we can execute him for being hate speech with his assassinating somebody for their religious beliefs. That's where they're going with that now. What do you think about that? I mean, I know Joe's got to have opinions about that.
Yeah, dude, I know what they're going to do before the CIA even thinks about it. Like, they're going to flood the zone with bullshit. They're going to keep the media flowing. And gangs, like I always say, the media is controlled by the same banks that control the CIA. So they got to feed the machine. They got to keep the narratives going, the little side stories. Oh my God, it's a hate crime now. I mean, we're devolving into a point in history where after COVID, they've gotten lazy with their psyops. Like they just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. I mean, that's literally
right.
Where we're at in society, is just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. By the way, have you heard one of the new theories about Charlie Kirk? That some very large content creators have brought up, that he was electrocuted.
No. Oh,
I don't know if you start looking into it, that he was actually electrocuted, and that's why his body reacted the way that it did. So there's people that I haven't dug into it because I haven't had the time, but I did watch. The guy's an attorney. His name is Baron Coleman, and he's been on this case, and he's gotten pretty big. But he's an attorney, and he was discussing it last night, that there's a theory that apparently is not that fringe. There's other people have addressed it and have talked about it. And he said pretty clearly and definitively last night, he didn't say if he believed that Charlie was electrocuted, but he said, I don't believe he was shot. And he has experience. He's a guy who has experience with guns and things like that. But that's kind of one of the new theories, is that Charlie was electrocuted. Now, you may or may not remember this. I posted a video clip on my Substack a while ago, probably 2 months ago or so, that I thought people were looking at the Charlie Kirk situation too conventionally. And that if it was a state level operation, that I think a higher tech type of weapon was used. And I stated that because I think that there was a shot fired. There were people in the crowd. Did somebody have a gun? And I have said all along, if it's a state level operation, they have technology that's 20, 30 years ahead of what we can even fathom. And so I'd like to see how this electrocution theory develops, because we have, I don't know if you guys know this or not, the military has directed energy weapons. It's not a conspiracy theory. They have it. They've had it actually for a long time. And that would be an example of something that could have that effect on somebody, a directed energy weapon.
Well, I mean, I'll certainly keep an open mind on it and see what happens with the electrocution thing. And again, here we go with like 27 theories on it, and can we entertain another one? But it's something we should look into, especially if it has teeth and we can see videos of it in practice and other people where we can compare what it looks like when someone gets hit with it, kind of thing. That would be great. This was a picture of the thumbnail I was going to show from E-Times. I think about it every day. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin breaks his silence and mentions Erica supposedly in the lip reading. He didn't actually say it but he lip synced. There's Candace Owens' post saying, "I wanted to let you guys know Tyler Robinson's lip reading is complete utter fiction. What actually happened, Tyler and his lawyer had just learned that the security vehicle which transported him to the court was involved in a fender bender. I'm told that the grinning," and then it says show more. I didn't get to click on the show more because it was just a screenshot just like that. So whatever the case may be, I wanted to at least touch on some of the other cases. We don't have Lisk material today. We don't have Nikki Stein's material today. Luigi Mangione I believe, is still in the suppression hearings. I know that you guys covered it, Robin, and 1-1 recently. By the way, heck, only Robin's on screen. That was weird. But I know you guys touched on that. Is 1-1 still there? Did you guys want to talk about your Sunday show where you talked about the Terry
I'm
Frisk?
here. I'm still here.
He looks up the receipt 6 months.
Yeah,
I'm still
very
here.
good.
Yeah, it was great yesterday. We were able to cover the Terry stop. So we had a lot of Luigi people in, and you said you saw it a little bit. You saw some of it.
Yeah, I did. I watched a little bit of you describing the Terry stop.
I tried not to make it too lengthy, but we went into what a Terry stop really is, because I've mentioned it many times. And then we did how it affects Pennsylvania. So because you have Terry stops. The Terry stop affects all of the United States. It was a Supreme Court decision, hearing, whatever. But then individual states have, like, they have their own, like, certain things about police stops and whatnot before you get to a Terry stop. So we had a good we had a good amount. We had a good audience last night, so it was good. I know. I know Robin enjoyed it. So
There's background noise somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I think 1-1's got a TV on, or I think it was coming from 1-1's side. Yeah, and people were excited. I know that there was a lot of people that were excited about hearing your perspective as NYPD, even though not everybody believes that you're NYPD, but that's a whole nother thing. But I know they appreciated.
He did an amazing job. Amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was super cool that we got a chance to do that. Silence Unchained had said that so the suppression hearings on Luigi starts tomorrow at 9:30. To clarify, it's actually ongoing. I mean, the suppression hearings have been going on for a couple of weeks with some days off in between. So it's the continuation, I think, is what you would want to say on the suppression hearings. Looking forward to seeing that wrap up and see what the ruling is on it as well. But that's an ongoing thing. We've covered a little bit in previous lives some of the items that are coming out suppression hearings. Again, I still maintain it was an illegal arrest. I think 1-1 still maintains it's an illegal arrest. They did things not quite in the order that they should have been done, and so procedurally it was a problem for them. They're trying to get away with that by trying to find other ways to bring in the same evidence. It'll be interesting to see how Judge Caro in that case rules on the situation. Again, we will be covering it in depth. I'm going to try to get Ali Benevento, our criminal defense attorney friend, who I'm sure somebody's going to question her credentials and say she's not a real attorney, even though she's got awards on documentaries and on court TV on a regular basis. But I'm sure somebody's going to tell me she's not a real attorney, even though she's on court TV on a regular basis, because there's just I almost feel like it's the same person every single time coming in and telling all my guests that they're not who they say they are, which I have no tolerance for that anymore. But anyways.
Well, I'm AI, DA, so, you know.
Yeah, he's AI.
That might be true. That might be.
Apparently, I'm AI. I'm very serious.
It's all good. Yeah, it's like you remind me of the Max Headroom guy from way back in, was that the 80s? I can't remember if Max Headroom was the 80s. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a throwback for his old farts. But anyways, I'm waiting for him to jerk his head around and hey, little glitch in the matrix. Any last minute thoughts you guys have for tonight? I think it's a good time to wrap up. Again, I want to let people know. Twiz just joined the house at the last minute. It's amazing how real attorneys say AT did a great job, but YouTube attorneys think she sucks and they could do better. That's an interesting. So real attorneys say AT did a great job, but YouTube attorneys think that she sucks and could have done a better job. Yeah, I mean, I've had. I think when the custody queens were on here, they had good things to say about Ann Taylor. I don't think they really questioned Ann Taylor's procedures. I'm the one who's more likely to say I think Ann Taylor wasn't as good as she could have been, and that's just personal criticism. Maybe I fall in that category of YouTubers who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, thinks she didn't good a job. Maybe I was the brunt of that attack. It's like, you YouTubers say that I don't think she did the best job. That's my opinion, but I've had other attorneys say that they think she did fine. Somebody says, "Are you into Hinduism?" I see the Om symbol. Yes and no. So it's outside the scope of this thing, but I actually have a Christian cross and an Om symbol together, representing the fact that I have studied on both paths, Eastern and Western religion and esotericism, but that's outside the realm of this thing. So, but yeah, a little bit of that as well, Buddhism and Hinduism as well as Christian background. But thank you. So anything else? What else? We got anything else? So again, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we should have Dago on the show. I'll try to put together a thumbnail and advertise that ahead of time so you know Dago's coming. For my panelists that are here, and hopefully for if State of the Deep's listening, or not State of the Deep, if Estes Crime Maze is listening, hopefully I'll probably go with him about a half hour. I'll plan to go about a half hour with Dago alone. And then if you guys want to join late, you can. If you want to hang out for the whole show and just wait till I bring you up, that's also welcome as well. So that's tomorrow night. Wednesday night, we will not be having our regular show because I'm going to be premiering the video that you guys have already seen on my channel with the custody queens of our discussion about that 1112 surveillance footage from 2:30 to 3:30 in the morning. We did it already. That same video will be that we aired a few days ago or whatever will be aired on the Custody Queens channel, and I'm going to be live with them to take questions from their audience. So we're giving them a chance to premiere the same video that some of you already seen. If you want a second chance to take a look at that, where we discuss their opinions, their appellate attorney Ron's opinion about whether there's appeals options available to Kohberger based on what that footage shows. Is it something that's going to overturn a conviction, lead to a wrongful conviction? All of the thoughts that we had on that show, great show to get a recap on. We're going to do that instead of our Wednesday night show. So for my panelists, you guys have the night off because we're going to do that instead on the live. Although I wouldn't mind you guys showing up to at least get the watch time on it. That'd be cool for us to get support. So if you want to show up that way, but we won't be doing a panel on that. Thursday, we'll be back to our regular show. Tomorrow morning, last thing I want to say, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., I'm going to schedule it after the show. It'll be up probably in an hour or so after the show. I will schedule the premiere of a video where I compare the footage from 2:30 to 3:30 in the morning with the screams that may indicate people having violence committed on them between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning versus what you hear on the the 1112 King Road footage between 4:05 in the morning and 4:20 in the morning, the time that the prosecution says the murders happened, where they told us that 3 of the 4 victims were fighting back. We're going to compare those 2 footages and listen to how they sound. And then I'm going to show you why I believe if Kohberger did show up at 4:07 at the back of the house, he never got out of the car. So I hope you will catch that, and I hope you'll enjoy that and give me your thoughts and your feedback after you watch it. For that, guys, last minute thoughts, Joe?
Well, I want to say I might have thrown Esty under the bus because he messages me pretty regularly, and I told him I forgot that there was a live tonight because I forgot that you were doing every other Monday with Birdie. So I told him, he said, "Oh, good luck tonight on the live," and I was like, "Oh, DA's on with Birdie tonight." So hopefully he got the link and didn't think I intentionally threw him under the bus because I didn't even know until I got the link. But and the last thing I'll say is, Pob showed our clip again today, the Esty clip at the beginning of his show today again. So I was laughing.
It's classic. It's classic. I love that. And I love that Pavarotti took it in good humor. He doesn't seem to be irritated about it. He seems to have enjoyed it as much as we did, I think. So
oh God,
that was awesome.
It's funny every time I see it.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it.
It's great.
Yeah, one came back for a saying goodbye. What do you got for us on the way out?
Yeah, just say you know, at the end, I heard everything. Yeah, I had some stuff going on. That's why I took myself off screen.
No worries.
I would say, you know, one of the things I'm super interested in, and I'm really curious. You know, you always have amazing premieres and all that. So I'm sure it'll be epic. You know, I'll try to be there, hop on. I also would like to see some kind of I don't know, some kind of video or what. It's not really a comparison, but I guess if somehow we could show something that shows the sounds from 2:30 to 3:30, and I believe because I watched it again. So the Banfield stop happens at 2:54, and to me, again, this goes along. I am in agreement with JJ and some other people. I do think there's some kind of big cover up with the police, and something went on. Either they really dropped the ball, and something was going on and they fucked up. But I find it highly really too coincidental that the Banfield stop and their body camera comes on right at 2:54, which is like right after some of the vicious, crazy screams that we heard. And you can't tell me that that these guys didn't hear any of those screams. With with the boots on the ground. Anyone who hasn't seen any of the videos that Lee and JJ or Lee and Rhonda, you know, went. I mean, they describe very, you know, specifically, and I know it's hard a little bit to see from the video, but that area is really tight, you know, for there to be screams, and these guys are driving around in a circle or a square, whatever it was.
Right.
They definitely. Again, I'm not putting. You know, I'm not saying that they did the homicides or that they were involved. But I find it really hard to believe that they didn't hear any of this, and they didn't know anything that was going on. It's just really suspect to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Before Robin goes, I will run down the times one last time, Big Mike. So I will get that in a second. Robin, did you have any last thoughts on the way out?
You know, I agree with one. Somebody heard something. They're either scared to say anything. I mean, there's just no way that you could be living right there and not hear something. I also believe that there has been some redactions that should not be occurring in some of this footage. You have cars disappearing, you know, never there that we know have to be. So that's why this records requests are so important, to kind of hold their feet to the fire and get as many answers as we possibly can. We know we're not going to get all the answers, but each piece is important in the grand scheme of things. So
absolutely. And there's more questions than answers in this Idaho case. So we've got a lot of questions to ask, and we'll continue to fight the fight with the legal requests, and hopefully we don't get ourselves killed in the process, because it depends on how deep this is, right? It's going to be dangerous for asking the wrong questions. So let's hope we keep safe out there, all of us. Fortunately, for you guys, I'm probably more on the radar than any of you. So there's that, right? If I go down first, you guys can find a new job.
Oh, you're on the list, dude.
Anyways,
there's no way you're not on the list.
The show will go on. The show will go on.
You should probably shut it down. If I get taken out, you should probably shut it down. Anyways, thanks for my guests. Again, the time's real quick. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, I will premiere my what I think is my best reason to believe why if Koberger did show up at 405, 407 and parked behind the house, he never got out of the car. I'll show that. I'll also compare the sounds of what it sounds like at 1122 King Road residence between 2:30 and 3:30 versus what it sounds like during the window they say the murders happened. And you tell me which one sounds like murder and which one sounds like nothing. All right. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
One last thing, DA. I'm just trying to cover you, buddy. If something happens to you and Rhonda becomes the CEO of the Devil's Advocates, do you want us to investigate her?
We'll keep that on the down low. We'll keep that on the down. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.